These are what we call the special right triangles. There are two of them. So what we have is the 30, 60, 90. Of course, it has to be a 90 right angle right there because it's a right triangle. And we have the 45, 45, 45. So if you have these two, you just have to follow the ratio. So the ratio for 30, 60, 90 is 1, 2, radical 3. And the ratio for 45, 45 is 1, 1, radical 2. So pretty much you just need to set up the proportion. So you see right here, for number 14, I'm looking for H. So you see that this is 45, 45, 90-degree angle. So what I have, I'm just going to put H over 6. And I go back to my 45, 45. So H goes with 45. The right angles go with 6. So you put the ratio in. So it's going to be 1 over radical 2. So you pretty much just pair them up, right? You see right here, 6, go with radical 2. H, go with that 1. So I just pair them up. If you put 6 over H, then you put radical 2 over 1. And then how do we solve it? We just cross multiply. So I'm just going to cross multiply. So H equals 6 radical 2 over radical 2. Of course, you're going to have to rationalize it. So I ended up with 3 radical 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3 radical 2. Now for B, you see that for B, we have the 60, 30, 90. So I'm going to put the informations given to me, which is B over 8. Now, B goes with the 60 angle. You see right here, the 60 angle. So B goes with the 60 angle, and the 60 angle is radical 3. So you put radical 3. And 8 goes with the 30 angle, 30-degree angle. And the 30-degree angle is 1. So you put 1. And once again, I can just cross multiply. 1 times B equals square root of 3 times 8. So B equals to 8 radical 3. So that's how we deal with a special right triangle. Now, a right triangle is given has the length A 15 and 17. We want to use these lengths to find tangent of A, sine of A, and cosine of A. Now we're going to go back to SOHCAHTOA. So hopefully you still remember SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So what I have for sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over over adjacent. Okay, now we're ready to write. So you see, this is angle A here. So opposite over hypotenuse, which is 8 over 17. Adjacent is 15 over 17. And opposite over adjacent, 8 over 15. Okay, so those are the answer. All right, now Moving on to this right triangle. So they don't give you values, but we don't need the values. All we need is SOHCAHTOA. So tangent, same thing, tangent, cosine, and sine. So I'm going to do sine of x. Sine of x is opposite. So this is x. Sine of x is opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be E over D. Cosine of x is adjacent, which is F over D. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay. All right. 17. So 17, you see right here, we want the exact values, not the decimal approximation. So notice that these are the right triangle. So for right triangle, we have x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. So we are looking for, we have x, we have y, so we're looking for r. So the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out r. So I have 8 squared plus 15 squared equals is 17 squared. Okay, I actually got the number and I take the square root, so I know it says 17. Okay, so what we have is a 15, 17. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so it's going to be 8 over 17. All right, moving on to number 18. All of these problems are quite easy. You just have to figure out x, y, and so we have just x, y, and r. So x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. In this case, we have 3 squared plus 5 squared, which is 9 plus 25 is 34. So r squared is going to be square root of 34. Okay, so I'm ready to write tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Secant is hypotenuse over adjacent, which is square root of 34 over 3. And sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, and make sure you rationalize it. Okay, moving on to 19. So we have to solve for x in the triangle, and then we have to round the answer to the nearest tenth. So you see that right here we have x. We have the angle right here is 49. We are given the hypotenuse. We don't have the adjacent. So what can we do with the hypotenuse? The hypotenuse and opposite would give you sine. So I know that sine of 48 degree is going to be x over 18. Okay, and then from here, you just solve for x by multiplying 18. So if I take the calculator and I multiply, I should get the answer. Okay, so you just look for what's given to you and we go from there. Now, we want to find the angle this time. So, and then we are given this is adjacent and this is hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine, right? So if I have cosine of x, it should be 11 over 13. Okay, you get the number and you do the inverse. So you're gonna get the answer if you do the inverse for cosine.